Hi, it's Nell, and welcome to my patio. It's getting warm here in the Arizona desert. It's the end of April. It's about 91 degrees. So there are a few projects I want to get done before it gets too hot. So this is one of them. Today I will be transplanting my three-headed ponytail palm into a larger pot. So stick around. So this is a project I'm going to do right here on the patio because it's too heavy to take to my potting table and do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the glass chips here. There's a lot of top dressing glass chips and shells. I'm going to get them out. And oh, actually, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tie up the ponytails so they're out of the way. Then I'm going to take off the mulch, and then I'm going to take out the burro's tail. But I'm going to do that as a separate video because a few of you have asked me how to transplant burro's tails without having all the leaves fall off. So I'm going to show you that. And then after everything is transplanted, after the ponytail palm is transplanted, then I will put the burro's tail back in to the new pot. Well, it's not the best hairstyle I've ever done, but at least it gets those long leaves up out of the way while I do the transplanting. It does the trick. I just bumped the plant down on the ground. You know, not all that gently because it's heavy, but it's down here. It's easier to work with all the plastic. But I just wanted to show you, if you wanted to divide this and make it 3 separate plants, you could, because this one would pull apart, the heads would pull apart really easily. You could cut them and then just pull them apart and you could have 3 plants. I don't want that. I want to keep it as 3. So, just wanted to point that out in case you wanted to do it. This one, it would be very easy to do it because the roots are clearly formed on each head. Okay, so this is a trench digger's shovel here. It's long and narrow and it's good for this kind of thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to run it all along the edge of the pot here and give it a gentle pulling away. I don't think it's going to be that bad to get out, actually. It's kind of all in one piece. So I'm going to continue around and do this, but you can see how the roots are kind of curling around the pot here. It really is going to be happy to be transplanted. Let's go over here. There we go. Phew. Okay, there's the root ball there. I'll zoom on in so you can see it. It's got some nice healthy roots at the bottom there. So I'm going to loosen them up, of course, before putting them into the new pot. Before putting it, well, the roots too. I'll get up a little bit closer for a few seconds so you can see those nice thick roots that the ponytail palm has. Those are the roots that store the water. Besides those bulbous bases, they store the water too. All right, that wasn't too bad at all. So I have the new pot here, which is a 23-inch plastic pot. It still has a plastic on it. I left it around the top just to keep it from getting too dirty while I'm doing the transplanting. But for these big pots, I love these plastic or these resin blends because they are so light and they look great. So it didn't have any drain holes, so I drilled 5 in there, and now I'm going to put a coffee filter over them just to hold the soil in while it is settling in. And for the bottom 2 or 3 inches, I'm going to put the soil that was left in the old pot, and then I'm going to put some potting soil, which is fairly fresh. I just took it out of a couple of color bowls that I I took apart. And that's just kind of nice filler soil at the bottom. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use as my soil blend here. I'm going to use, over there's a cactus and succulent mix. It's a local mix. I'm really liking it. I just got it about a month or two ago. Has a lot of like cocoa coir chips in it. It's really cool. And it's organic. And then I have a local compost in the green bag. And then in the pail, I have a mixture of Happy Frog potting soil and Kellogg's cactus and succulent mix, which I'm just trying to use up and blend in. And I'm going to use the potting soil because here it's very warm, so I want to put some potting soil into the mix here. So it just helps to hold the moisture a little bit more. You can go with a straight succulent or cactus mix, or if you don't overwater, you can go with potting soil. You just have to be careful not to overwater your ponytail palm. And you want the mix to drain really, really well. So what I did, because the plant is pretty heavy to be lifting in and out, I just measured the root ball on the broom, and it goes up to about there. And then I just put that in the pot, and that gives me an indication of how much soil, if I need to take any soil out, or if I need to take any soil out, or put any soil in. It's hot, boy. Anyway, so now I'm just going to loosen up the root ball a bit, just around the bottom here, just to get it around the bottom and the sides. I'm just going to give it a good massaging to loosen them up, because they are all wrapped around. So I'm going to go around and do that around the whole plant, because it's really tight, especially here. Oh, you can see it here, I think. Ugh. Just a bit more loosening, and it's ready to put back in the pot. But one thing I wanted to point out about the roots too is they are nice and moist down here, and up here toward the top they're dry. So that's why you want to be careful not to say, oh my gosh, the top, inch or two of the plant is dry. I'm gonna water it, because it's nice and moist down here with these really thick roots. Okay, so I have the plant in the pot, which wasn't that easy to do. It's heavy to get it up in that pot, but I got it. And I'm going to build up the root ball so that it sits even with the edge of the pot, because I want it up a little bit higher, because the weight of the root ball and the plant is going to pull it down into that light mix. So I want it to sit up a bit, and it'll sink back down, and then I can get the burro's tail back in. It deceivingly takes a lot of soil around the edges, so what I'm doing is I'm just putting the soil in, and I'm just sort of getting it down in there below the side of the root ball there. Now I'm going to go and add a little more compost, the good stuff. And I think one more bucket of the succulent mix is going to do it. And by the way, this pot here that the Ponytail Palm was in, I'm going to clean up a bit. I'm going to touch it up with some fresh purple spray paint, and then I'm going to put my pencil cactus in here. So I'll do a video on that for you too. So here is my three-headed Ponytail Palm, all transplanted. I'm filthy dirty, but that's how it goes. But thank goodness there's a pool I can jump into. Yay! But I got the burro's tail into and lost hardly any leaves. I'm doing a separate video about this, so I will leave the link down below. It's probably not going to post right away. It'll probably be a few weeks after this video. So hold tight for that if you're interested in burro's tails. And one thing I wanted to mention, if you tie, your ponytail palm up and then untie it, be very, very careful because the edges are kind of sharp. It's not like a cactus or anything, but they can give you like a paper cut. So what I did is I filled up the rest of the pot with the succulent and cactus mix. I put about 1/4 inch of worm compost on the top. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let it all settle in for a while. I'm not going to water it for at least a week. And then as it starts to pull down in the pot, then I will put a little more worm compost on the top along with some nice organic compost. I cannot believe how much this plant has grown since I got it in a little 6-inch pot at the Santa Barbara Farmers Market, probably about, I want to say 7 years ago. That's probably about right, but it has grown so much and it's beautiful. It's got all that nice new growth on it, and now that it has room to grow and it's really getting warm, it's going to take off even more. So I hope you have found this video to be helpful. There will be more information in the blog post, the link below. I also have done other videos and blog posts about Ponytail Palms, so I will leave the link to those down below for you in case you're interested in these beautiful plants. So I thank you for all your likes and your subscribes. I really appreciate them. Now let's get out in our gardens or into any garden and make our worlds a more beautiful place. I have a lot more videos coming your way. I have a lot of gardening projects I'm doing, so stay tuned for those. And as always, I thank you so much for watching. Bye.